Hey, today I'm going to talk about 3 new-ish movies, and their titles are Shiva Baby, Spontaneous, and The New Mutants. First up is Shiva Baby. This movie, oh my god, I love this movie so much. It is terrific. This movie is like, have you ever had like anxiety so bad that like your entire body just tenses up and you just can't do anything? That's what this movie is like. It's just a ball of anxiety, and it's incredible. It's so good. You should totally watch this movie. Do not watch a trailer for this movie because I think it kind of spoils something that's a little more fun to just experience. The thing that I'm referring to is what actually hooked me into the movie, but trust me, if you're in for like 77 minutes of pure anxiety, you don't need that hook to get you into it. You should just go for it. So the basic premise is, without spoiling anything, it's about this early 20s woman who goes to a funeral for someone she's maybe related to. I don't know. Who knows? And it's just about all of the social anxieties and family anxieties and the family awkwardness and just all those family awkward conversations. Those terrible questions that everyone hates, like, oh, what are you doing with your life? You have a significant other yet? Oh, are you not eating? What is happening? You're starving yourself. Eat something. Just like all of those things. And just like, it's so masterfully done. And like, what I love too is just how like, with like so many other anxiety or cringy things that I have to like pause them and take breaks from them. I can't look at stuff sometimes. But this is like the opposite of that. I was just so glued into it. Like I couldn't not look away. I had to know what was gonna happen next. And what I really, really love is that it's only 77 minutes long. It is so short, but it does not feel short at all. Just because like you're so tense the entire time that it just artificially inflates the length of the movie. It's just so damn good. Please watch this movie. I 1000% recommend this movie. Just go into it. It's such a great anxiety-filled time. You're not going to regret watching this movie. Also, it's super Jewish, and that was just really fun. The next up is Spontaneous. This movie was filmed a couple years ago, but because of the pandemic, things got delayed and delayed and delayed, and it came out, I think, last fall. There's this spontaneous event that keeps happening. I'm not going to say what because it's slightly more fun if you don't know what the spontaneous event is. I was a bit disappointed with just like all the romance stuff that happens in the movie because like it's just a romance movie with a horror backdrop, and like even when like the boy first shows up in the movie just kind of comes to like a dead halt, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. But there's definitely like cute moments in there. I wasn't really sold on it. Or like the gore stuff that happens in it really just kept my interest going. Like there is a crazy amount of blood in this movie. Anytime there's blood on screen, I was just like, yep, this is good. We're in for a good time. This is good. This is good. It is a bit predictable too, and I wasn't a huge fan of the main actress. I don't know, she was okay. What also kept me going through this movie was just the mystery of what's triggering the spontaneous thing. And as we got further into the movie, I was like, oh, are they just gonna go this way? And then they did go the way I thought they were gonna go. I understand why they did it. I just disagree with that choice, but I did still quite enjoy it. I put this fairly high up. It's just that first like 10 minutes of this movie, I was like, oh shoot, is this gonna be like a top 10? This might be a top 10. And then it just slowly went down and down, and I'm like, okay. But again, I still quite enjoyed this. It's a 4 out of 5 basically for me. I would say if you want a romance story that has the backdrop of some horror comedy stuff, go for it. It's pretty good. And lastly is The New Mutants. This is an X-Men movie, but the last of the Fox X-Men movies. I remember when the trailer first came out years ago, and it was so horror and intense, and I was just like, yes, please, this looks incredible. But then it kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed, and that happened. And once it finally did come out, it didn't get great reviews. I don't know. I was still intrigued by it. I decided I was gonna watch it eventually. I just was never gonna pay for it. And I didn't pay for it, so that's good. The premise is it's about a group of teenage mutants who go to this hospital place that I guess helps them learn how to control their powers. That never really comes up. There's definitely a lot of problems with this movie, but it's not the worst. It's okay. It's a solid meh movie. We all knew the trailers were going to be a lie, that there wasn't going to be that much horror in the movie, but the little bits of horror that are there are great. And really, they needed to just go full tilt into that horror stuff. And this movie could have been incredible. I would have loved that. I also really liked the main character of the movie. I didn't realize that the Native American girl, I forget her name, was going to be the main character of this movie. I thought it was going to be more of an ensemble thing, but no, there is definitely a main character. I also just like the basic story ideas in there, like how they handle like the big bad guy slash the big end fight thing. I thought that was a really interesting idea. Also, I did really love whenever Magic transformed. Her arm and having the sword is just great. The movie has a lot of the same problems that a lot of the bad X-Men movies have. If you've seen any of the bad X-Men movies, you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of just like logical holes in this movie, just all over the place, and it's bad. So I would say if you're curious about the movie, it's fine. It's a good way to like waste an afternoon. Don't expect it to top, you know, Days of Future Past or Logan. It's nowhere near as good as them, but it's definitely not the worst X-Men movie. That's for sure. Dark Phoenix is the worst. Alrighty, now for today's ranking. So first up, we have Shiva Baby sitting at number 7 in the really liked category. Oh my God, that movie is just all kinds of terrific, and I love it so much. Please watch it. It's so good. It's so good. What's great too is like, even though it's an anxiety trip, I was not anxious afterwards. Like I felt good afterwards. And I've been kind of anxious recently too, and that's saying something. And then next up is Spontanious, sitting 40 places lower at number 47 in the quite liked section. And then bringing up the rear is The New Mutants, sitting at number 78 in the meh category. And this is out of a total of 105 movies so far this year.